economic updates for the week, courtesy of our friend Ricky So. So magpapatay muna ako ng aking video for bandwidth issues and then I will share my screen. Ayan. Okay. So if you can share my screen, can you type the letter S in the chat box? S stands for screen. Okay, ayan, perfect. Hello George, welcome. Okay, so ang newsletter for the week is The Market Bullish ang title, no? So, close as of 2 Fridays ago was 6685 and then close as of November 13 is close to 7,000, no? So yan yung Philippine Stock Exchange Index. So yan yung nakita natin sa news, di ba, na kumbaga indicator ng stock market natin kasi represented yan ng top 30 traded companies. Alright. So sabi ni Ricky So, the daily chart posted further gains the past week and yung mga indicators niya like moving average supporting of the rise. Pero yun nga ang ating watch out na psychological resistance or yung kumbaga yung bubong na gusto nating butasin ay yung 7,000 points. And then pag tinignan daw natin yung isa pa niyang indicator which is yung MACD, nag-near na siya to its previous high which was last June if I'm not mistaken. So yan yung itsura ng kanyang charting. So nag-close siya ng 6969 last Friday. And yung sinasabi niyang MACD ay the one below. So nag-high na siya last June nung first rally towards 6465. So pumantay na siya doon. So mukhang nagre-resist muna siya dyan. Meaning hindi pa niya mabutas yung 7,000. So yan yung daily chart. For the weekly chart, ayan, green candlestick na naman daw, which means bullish. So, sabihin pa angat. So, let's see. Na natin yung kanyang drawing. Ayan. So, kita naman natin yung uptrend ng ating weekly chart and nagpa-positive na almost yung ating MACD. Yung blue nasa positive territory na and close by ay yung red na line, no? So dapat above zero, yun yung gusto natin. And then yung moving averages, ayan. So ito yung red and blue lines naman. Okay, so yan yung kanyang quick snapshot ng technical picture ng ating stock market index. So last week, if I remember correctly, ang kanyang market temperameter ay nasa early stage ng buy, no? So parang buy with not so strong conviction, no? Tapos ngayon nandito na siya sa mid part ng buy going towards the strong buy indicator. So yung kailangan nating makita diyan is yun nga, dapat masustain niya yung above 7,000 points ng ating market at mag-stay above that para maging strong ang conviction natin na uptrend na siya. So, ang call niya is to buy on dips. So, kapag bumaba, pwedeng mag-accumulate or mag-start ng pagbili ng mga stocks. Okay? Alright. Ayan. So, merong nagtanong for the mailbag section. So parang for the past 2 weeks, walang nagtatanong sa mailbag. So baka meron nang nagtanong from DNA. Baka nagtago lang sa pangalang Carlos. Pero sabi from the mailbag, with the recent rise of the market, can we say that the market is already bullish? So, para sa mga nakaka-monitor ng market, yan din ba yung tanong nyo? Yan din ba yung tanong nyo? If yan din yung tanong nyo, press chat Y, letter Y, para sabihin natin yes, yun ang inyong tanong din. Kasi ako, yan din yung tanong ko. Diba? Gusto ko malaman ang side ni Ricky So. So, good question daw yon. If you are in the market, meaning may investment tayo sa market, gusto mo siyang isipin na bull market already. Hindi ako si Carlos, JJT. Remember though, the economy is still reeling from the effects of the pandemic. So, I'm sure kung naalala niyo yung mga usapan natin about the index, the many weeks na, no? Yung same sentiment naman natin na parang wala pa rin naman halos tayong reason to see the market na talaga straight up yung kanyang run or yung kanyang pag-angat. Kasi nga, wala pa naman yung vaccine, di ba? Yung isang major catalyst na inaabangan natin. Plus, may mga hard lockdowns pa, di ba? Or mga GCQ lockdowns. So, sabi niya dito, 3 successive quarters down is considered a recession. So, kung napapansin din natin yung mga quarterly earnings, obviously, since yung March yung lockdown, the first quarter, malamang meron na agad hit. And moreover, sa second and third quarter kasi nga tuloy-tuloy yung ating lockdowns and wala masyadong gumagastos ating consumption-driven economy. So year-to-date contraction, meaning negative 10.8%. Perhaps worse daw than the predictions of analysts. However, the market is ahead of the curve in most times, but there lies the possible volatility due to uncertainty and conflict. So yung reaction daw last week was sentiment driven based doon sa news no vaccine ni Pfizer. So at least ang consolation is that the worst may have been over. May have been over. So it's too early to say na bull run and let's enjoy the ride. Any dip from here is just a signal for us to buy into it. And yan, nakita ko nga din yung tinype ni El na news update. So si Moderna, sabi niya 94.5% effective yung vaccine niya and konti lang daw yung adverse effects. So, nag-notify din siya sa aking Bloomberg app. So if wala pa yung Bloomberg app, install it para sa mga up-to-date news like that. Thank you, El, for sharing. Alright, so yan yung ating from the mailbag portion. Now let's go to international news. So ayun din, sinabi natin yung Pfizer, BioNTech, yung effectivity ng kanilang vaccine. The results were based on the first interim efficacy analysis. So, by internal independent committee. So, ibig sabihin daw noon, protection from the virus, no, yung COVID-19 is achieved 28 days after initial vaccination, which consists of a 2-dose schedule. So, siguro 14 days apart or so, or hindi ko alam kung ano yung schedule ng doses. Pero 28 days after the initial vaccination na 2-dose, na-achieve daw yung immunity or yung protection from COVID-19. So, kailangan pa rin daw mag-additional data to collect additional data. Limited use as early as before the year ends. So, okay, promising. And then widely available by third quarter of 2021. So, Third quarter pa daw ng 2021, meaning mostly first half ng next year, hindi pa rin naman tayo ganun ka-certain. So, we will just see kung ano magiging effect nito, no, sa ating economy and sa ating galaw, sa ating movement. Okay, negative news ulit. Moody's Analytics downgraded our growth outlook for next year. So, 1 month after lang, binago na nila from 7.8% naging 6.2%. Due to the smaller fiscal policy response that was previously assumed. Meanwhile, yung Moody's upgraded its 2020 GDP outlook. Okay, so nagdagdag sila ng 1% from the previous 9.2 thanks to the manufacturing and trade improvements. So, note that the government, so si government naman natin expects the economy to contract between 4 to 6% before bouncing back with the 6.5 to 7.5 next year. Okay. Yan ang ating mga international news. Vaccine and forecast ng ating growth or GDP. Alright. So, local news. The Senate would be able to pass the corporate recovery and tax incentives for enterprises and the FIST bills, Financial Institution Strategic Transfer Bills, na na-approve na on final reading. So, before the end of the year daw mapapass. However, of course, ang gusto natin talagang ma-prioritize ay yung passage ng ating 4.5 trillion national budget. So ano din yan, market mover din yung budget na yan. Senate will begin plenary debates. No, nag-resume na. Okay, so create bills, the revised version of the, okay, so corporate income taxation ito. Which na provides for the immediate reduction. Okay, so 5% ang matitipid ng ating mga corporations. So good yan. Good effect sa ating listed corporations or companies sa stock market dahil instant 5% kita yan sa kanila na pwedeng magamit sa ibang bagay. And then, annual na yung reduction ng 1% beginning 2023 until 2027. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So another 5%. Magiging 20% na lang yung corporate income tax by 2027. Okay, si FIST bill naman is to encourage local financial institutions to sell their non-performing assets to asset management companies. So, ang isa sa mga alam kong non-performing assets ng financial institutions, so let's say in this case, bank, ay mga foreclosed properties. Kaya gusto nilang dinidispose yan. So parang sabi ni Bill na FIST, nag-encourage daw yon na ibigay na lang sa mga asset management or ibenta na lang sa asset management companies yung kanilang NPAs or non-performing assets. Okay. Okay, study by the BSP. So remittance naman ng ating mga OFWs. Slow pa rin daw ang expectation. 54% of them are expecting a decline in both volume and value of international remittance. 43% are forecasting a decline of more than 20%. In addition, more than 237,000 OFWs have already returned home. So out of how many ba yung OFW statistics natin? 10 million ba? Not sure. If you know, kindly type. Parang ayun yung alam kong data. Tapos, we expect inflows to drop by 2% this year. So again, si 2021, not a significant rebound, pero that's the beginning of yung expected natin na recovery. Acting Socio-Economic Planning Secretary to ease lockdown restrictions and further open the economy will likely boost growth this fourth quarter. Okay, strict lockdown should be the last resort. The economic team had recommended the IATF to shift its policy from total risk avoidance to risk management. Okay. To the increasing the task pass, allowing businesses to run at 100%, boosting health systems, shortening curfew hours, and adopting localized quarantines if COVID-19 cases spike. Okay, so we will see. Kasi medyo marami ng tao sa malls ngayon dito sa Manila. Medyo nag-isiksikan na din. Okay, third quarter GDP fell by 11.5%. So, if I remember correctly, nung 11/11 sale yan lumabas. Sumabay din siya, 11%. Pero it's it's not that bad compared to the 16.9 drop nung second quarter. Okay. So remained weak pa rin ang household consumption as expected. Kasi mga nag-hoard ng mga consume, so yung pa, hindi pa sila bumibili ulit. Decline in the third quarter was slower than the pace registered in the second quarter. Okay, so yun yung household consumption. Gross capital formation fell sharply largely due to the lackluster construction activity, again because of the lockdowns. And then, what else ang mga significant dito? So ang nag-grow lang daw in the third quarter by 1.2% were agriculture, forestry, and fishing. Yung mga basic natin na needs. So down ang industry and services. Sharpest decline were, of course, yung mga tourism related, diba? Accommodation and food service dahil hindi sila makapag full capacity. Yung ibang hotels, hindi ka pa pwede mag-book for tourism or for leisure. Construction, understandable dahil hindi rin sila makapag full force. And of course, transportation, hindi rin full capacity. Real estate, yes, maraming mga I'd say in terms of real estate, yan yung mga office rentals, mall rentals, di ba? Maraming vacant. And education. Excluding construction, okay. So, yan. So, yan yung mga notable na nande-drag ng ating earnings or ng ating growth, which is connected naman. No? So, ganun kalaki yung effect ng ating dinadanas na pandemic. Okay, so next. Okay, so dumami daw ang domestic liquidity year on year, slower than the 13.7 expansion by 8.3 September from 10% in August. Okay. Net foreign account position of BSP expanded, reflecting the increase in. Okay, so nag-increase pa rin yung ating GIR or yung Gross International Reserves. Okay, next. Foreign direct investments. Net inflows increased for the fourth straight month last August. So dyan na nagbumalik daw ang ating mga foreign investors or investments. Okay, equity investments other than investment earnings also rose 33%. So, year on year, syempre pag kinompare natin year on year, down pa rin naman. Pero nag-narrow down na daw yung ating decline compared to last April, which was yung a month after the lockdown. Okay. Any questions so far? National news before tayo pumunta sa specific industries at outlook? Kung wala, Let's proceed. Okay, telecoms. Sabi ni Fitch Ratings, capital expenditures of the companies, telco companies, is expected to increase by 20 to 25% next year. Bakit? Kasi nga, mas kailangan natin, lalo ng ibabaw ang pangangailangan natin sa connectivity dahil sa pandemic. Kaya yan si dito nagkaroon ng commercial launch magkakaroon sa March 2021. Globe mentioned that they're planning to build their fiber to the homes network more aggressively next year. And also TEL or PLDT is aiming to add 2,000 cell sites next year. So magandang news to sa ating mga consumers kasi we want more competitive rates and more competitive options para sa ating internet at home and even sa mga office. NPL ratio. Ano yung NPL ratio? Hindi ko alam. Non-performing loans ata to of Philippine banks. Kasi Philippine banks ang context eh. So, NPL ratio of Philippine banks rose for the 8th straight month in September. Note that this was the highest since 2013. Wow. 7 years ago. Based on the BSE projections, the industry's NPL ratio is expected to rise to 4.6% by year-end. Past due loans jumped 66%. Obviously, dahil hindi makapagbayad. So, ayan. So, masyadong nag-jump. No? Similarly, structured loans surged by almost 200% year-on-year. With the deterioration in asset quality, banks boosted their allowance for credit losses, which climbed 60%. Wow, grabe. Meanwhile, the industry's NPL cover stood at 91.75% as of September, higher than the 91.86. So far naman. But lower than the 107 last month. Okay. So we can see na medyo mahirapan bumawi yung mga nagpapaloan na mga banks. Okay, ito yung FIST Act na nakita natin earlier. So, parang inelaborate lang nila about sa non-performing assets. Okay. Okay, this is a much improved version of the special purpose vehicle. It does away with the requirements that delayed the transfer of assets without diminishing the rights of borrowers under existing laws. Okay, so we will see the developments dyan kay FIST. Loan growth slows to 2.8% year-on-year. According to BSP, the general decline in bank growth partly reflects banks reduced tolerance for risk, which is so dahil nag-reduce sila ng tolerance for risk, no, mas ano sila defensive ngayon. Dahil ayaw nila magpa-loan basta-basta. Okay, outstanding loans, key sectors continue to contract as well as wholesale retail trade, real estate, okay, so may mga loan pa rin for that. Human health and social work. Okay, similarly, loans to households expanded at a lower rate. Okay, so good thing naman no, na nag-slow down yung credit card loans or yung mga, siguro mga cash advance yan. And yung mga loans ng sakyan. So, at least, alam natin na they're conserving cash or they're conserving their cash flow. Hindi mo na sila nagdadagdag ng mga obligations. Which is, siyempre, nagkaka-affect din sa ating expected growth. Kasi hindi masyadong gumagastos ang ating mga kababayan. Okay, so yun yung mga industry. So ano yung mga discuss na industry? Banks, telecoms, no? Corporate. So ito na yung mga individual. Ali is Ayala Land. Decline ng kanilang net profit. 77% year on year. Nevertheless, the third quarter revenues grew 72.8%. Kasi nag-resume na ang construction and nag-higher capacity na ang mga malls ni Ayala. Or malls in general. Okay, nickel, isa sa mga alapati natin or mga favorite stocks natin na pinag-uusapan every morning. Third quarter net profit increased. So, kumita na naman ang ating kalapate. Nickel is positioned to meet our full year forecast. Very good. Furthermore, company still expects to sell 4.5 million WMT. Ano yun? Tons ba yung T? Unit of measure siguro yan. Of ore shipments in the last quarter of the year. Okay, higher than expected daw ang kanilang average contact price. Kasi tumaas yung price ng nickel globally. Kaya tumaas din ang kanilang singil. Okay, so very good si nickel. Bilhin na kayo ng nickel. Joke lang. This is not an investment advice, no? Babasa lang tayo ng updates. Okay, RLC, Robinsons Land. So ito sa mga hit, di ba? Isa sa mga hit na hit ng mga industry, real estate. So nag-decline din. Okay, slower than expected naman yung improvement compared to the second. Okay. Net income for the first 9 months, 4.4 billion. So malayo, no? Malayo ang kanilang pag-hit sa kanilang forecast for the year. Kasi parang third quarter na pero parang pa-half pa lang yung na-hit nilang net income based on projections or forecast. Excuse. So DNL, net income. Okay. Okay, so maraming mga better than expected na sila na receive ngayong third quarter. Maganda rin. So, maganda rin tignan tong DNL chart later. Okay, in fact, higher revenues and margins allowed third quarter earnings non-food segments to end close to or not, if not above pre-COVID levels. Good news yan sa DNL. So, ayan. So, isa sa mga ginagawa ni DNL ay mga food ingredients. Parang mga oil yata yung isa sa mga main ni DNL. Cooking oil, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, JFC, ang ating paboritong Chicken Joy, nag-report ng net loss in the third quarter. A reversal. So kung ano man yung kinita nila nung third quarter 2019, yun yung nawala sa kanila nung third quarter this year. Despite the significant net loss, on track daw si JFC to meet the full year forecast. So ang forecast ay net loss. So on track daw sila dun sa 13 billion net loss nila this year. However, performance lags behind expectations. Okay. Operating losses. So yun yung mga common themes ng mga company review natin every week na puro mga declines. Excluding one-offs, DMCI naman to. Real estate din. Decline din. FGen, nasa power naman sila. Decline din yung recurring net income. Pero nasa 96.2% na sila ng COL forecast. Higher than expected. Okay, so yung mga gas plants daw nila. We provide, okay. MAC naman, Macro Asia. Nag-reversal din, parang si Jollibee. Kung ano yung kinita last year, third quarter, yun yung nawala this year, third quarter. MWC, Manila Water. So ano yung mga nasa East Zone? Saan kaya yung East Zone business nila? Bakit naging weak performance? Anyway, that East Business Zone continue to register losses. Eh, hindi ko alam kung ano yung East Zone and non-East Zone nila. Pero again, decline and drop. Yun pa rin ang tema. Eagle Cement, no? Semento naman to. Net income was flattish. Medyo flat. Okay. Below estimates pa rin, but in line with consensus estimates. RCBC, net income down 52%. Okay, so high base daw last year, kaya nagmukhang mababa. Ito na naman yung komplikadong ano nila, acquisition diagram, no? So si dito yung telco company na aggressive ang binabalitang pagtayo ng mga cell sites nila. Mas magandang makita natin yung diagram na kumakalat. Oo, nagal na nilang no trading, halt trading for so many days, trading days na. Ayala Corp, net profit reached 3.4 billion, so decline pa rin. Okay, encouraging signs of recovery when compared to previous quarter. So mukhang nag-improve karamihan ng third quarter compared to second. Asen, isa rin sa mga gusto nating stocks, no? One of the favorites. Nasa power business din sila. Okay. Revenues rose 93%. Higher sales volume. Asen's operating margin improved mainly due to the decline in coal prices. Okay. So, ang galing ni Asen, no? Nag-buy low, sell high ba sila? Kaya ganun. Or nag-buy low sila, kaya nagkaroon ng magandang operating margin. So, si WSM is the wholesale electricity spot market. Okay. So, diba? So, purchasing power from the spot market service on Mayor and other RES. RES is retail electricity supply. So, ibang usapan na kapag sinabi natin yung mga RES customers and yung structure ng electricity with RES. Anyway. Cebu Pacific, obviously, decline din yan dahil wala naman lumilipad masyado. Poor demand, di ba? Brought about by the pandemic. Si pizza. Shakey's ang pizza. Net loss. Pero maganda rin ito tignan later. Maganda rin tignan yung stock price nito or yung chart. East West Banco, of course, decline din yan. CIC is Concepcion. Kaya mga aircon, tama ba? So, book net income, up 49%. This was a significant turnaround. Marami bang bumili ng aircon, kaya sila okay. Dahil nag-stay at home at nainitan. M-Wide, ayan. Si M-Wide disclosed that their financials remain strong and kaya daw nilang i-sustain ang requirements for the NAIA rehabilitation project. So, gusto natin yan para maging very comfortable naman ang stay ng ating mga tourists sa NAIA. Okay, so 350 billion for a 35-year concession period. Pero nag-scale down to 107 billion for a 25-year period. Okay, MWC, Maynilad. Confirm na. Okay, so we will see. Alright, so yan ang ating mga news for this week from the chart ng ating PSE to international news. and then industry news, national news, and down to the corporate. So now, I turn the floor over back to DJ.